Choose your fighter. Fight.
I'm completely and utterly sorry because that's not what I meant at all. And I take full responsibility for that. I mean, I should know what I'm saying and I should know how it's going to affect people. And instead of thinking before I speak, I just spoke. And leaving that in, thinking it was all right, completely terrible of me. And it was, I had no empathy for anybody. And it really took over my channel. And that's not how I want it to be. So I'm very sorry if I offended anybody, because I know I did. And as I watch it back now, I would be offended too if I was in your shoes. And I need to get my crap together and make a good video that everyone will enjoy. Thank you. Peace. Exactly, that's how you make an apology video. Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. Today, as you can tell by the title, we are going to be talking about quarantine ruining these specific YouTubers. Dun, dun. It's toxic, it's bad, and it's racist. First YouTuber we are going to be talking about is James Charles. But to give you the lineup, we have James Charles, Yanni MUA, Jeffree Star, Jake Paul, Shane Dawson, and Tati Westbrook, and a little bit of Jenna Marbles. James Charles and Manny MUA versus Alicia Keys. On August 5th, 2020, both James Charles and Manny MUA released tweets after news broke that Alicia Keys would be teaming up with e.l.f. to create a lifestyle beauty brand. She doesn't really wear makeup. She stopped wearing makeup a few years ago. She really wanted to give her skin a break, and this lifestyle beauty brand would be a skincare brand. That comes up later, so that's very important. James Charles' tweet said, "People who do not wear makeup should not be coming out with makeup brands, but that's just my opinion." This was an indirect tweet. It was a subtweet, I believe it's called, and it got a little spicy. Manny MUA, he actually tweeted first. So he says, "Does anyone else get slightly irritated when celebs come out with entire makeup lines, especially when those celebs don't even wear makeup?" Many people pointed out how James had no problem with the D'Amelios or Shane Dawson coming out with makeup and collabing with makeup artists in the community. Some even calling it racist and anti-black that they specifically targeted Alicia. Both have apologized, saying they didn't read much into it. And guess what? Both of them apologized the same day. And I'm going to read you their apologies, and I believe they are the exact same. James Charles said, "Yesterday, I posted a subtweet about how I thought some celebrities couldn't watch makeup lines. It was about Alicia Keys. A few years ago, she announced that she no longer would wear makeup. So I was bothered because many celebrities came into the beauty space as a cash grab, without any actual passion, and then leave. I just deleted the tweet after a few minutes because it's childish to indirect tweet someone, and I am not the gatekeeper of makeup." No, you aren't. "Anyone should be able to secure their bag, and it's not up to me which brands people should or shouldn't support." He then goes on to say that he was ignorant and aggressive towards Alicia. More specifically, he labeled it a microaggression, and that he was very sorry and that he was willing to support the brand. But not many people accepted his apology, especially the black community. Many people were like, "White people, back off, not your thing to accept," which is totally true. Manny MUA released an apology as well. I'm gonna leave it on the screen for you to read, but it says the same exact thing as James Charles. And let me tell you, I'm not the only one who thought that. I mean, he uses the same word, cash grab, and that he was irritated and he didn't read much into it. It was the exact same apology. And people noticed that, and I'll put those tweets up as well. However, Alicia Keys, the queen, she has not acknowledged this at all. And since it's been almost a week, I don't think she ever will. Next, we're going to be talking about the Jake Paul house raid. On August 5th, the news of Jake Paul's home being raided was trending on Twitter. Affinity magazine says, the raid is in connection to Paul's involvement in a looting at an Arizona mall. During the raid, police found multiple high-powered weapons, which I don't know if he had a permit for or a license for, but to get those weapons back, he just had to show proof of purchase. No one understands fully how his misdemeanor charge turned into an FBI investigation. It doesn't seem like any arrests were occurring, and it just left a lot of people confused, including me. It's a very iffy situation. I mean, I feel like something more went on that nobody really knows. I mean, why would they come to your house if you just looted a mall? Maybe he was being reported to the FBI. Maybe they saw something in his videos that became an FBI investigation. The FBI doesn't really get involved unless it's something very serious. So I believe we're not being told everything. Next, we're going to be talking about Shane Dawson, Tati Westbrook, Jeffree Star, and James Charles. If you are sensitive to the topic of racism, sexualizing children, you may want to skip this and skip to this timestamp that I'll have in the description. June 30th, 2020, Tati released a video titled Breaking My Silence. This was directed towards James Charles as an apology, but more directed to Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson as a calling out, like she did with James Charles a year ago with the Bye Sister video. In Breaking My Silence, Tati states that she was gaslighted and pressured into making the previous video about James Charles, the Bye Sister video, where she called him out for his toxic and dangerous behavior towards straight men and men in general. It was mostly he was very predatory towards straight men and or bi-curious men. She pointed out his toxic and dangerous behavior in the community. She says that Jeffree and Shane were saying things about James and even gave her proof that terrified her. Jeffree Star has come out with many tweets, videos, and podcasts saying he has voice memos, videos, text messages that can be used against James Charles, basically convicting him as a sexual predator. But where is that proof? Nowhere. Jeffree Star has not come out with any proof. He's come out with zero. And that's what many people have pointed out over this year. But this video really solidified that for some people. In both videos, Tati says that she is worried for James and that it is not a hate video for him. She just wanted him to realize what he was doing. In the first video, she did say that she was scared to release the video for James because he, at the time of release, was at a very high building and she was scared that he would hurt himself. And she actually told Shane Dawson about her worry, but Shane Dawson said he wouldn't do that, and she posted the video. She apologizes in this video because she allowed herself to believe one side and never spoke with James about what Jeffree and Shane were telling her. She may have confronted James with what she saw. She said that in her Bye Sisters video that she had told him multiple times that, you may get in trouble doing this, don't do that, you don't know if they're here to hurt you. But she never spoke to him about what Shane and Jeffree were doing behind his back. Tati states in her video that her and James have made up. And she says after the 2019 Sisters video, Shane and Jeffree have not spoken to her. During this Bye Sister time, before the video was posted, she explains that they were talking to her almost every day, giving her more info, more tea, more evidence against James, and really pushing her to make this video. Tati stated that Shane and Jeffree did all of this because of their jealousy towards the young and quickly gaining subscriber count James had. James is growing very fast at this time. He was young. He was in his teen years when the Bye Sister video came out. And Tati is in her 30s, I believe. This was a problem when the Bye Sister video came out. People were pointing out the age and how this older woman was making this video about this young man and how it makes more sense with Jeffree and Shane why they would be jealous because he's young. He's gorgeous, he's everything, and young people do relate more to James Charles now than they do to Shane and Jeffree. He talks like a teenager, and that's what people want to hear when most of your demographic is teens. I'm going to specifically talk now about the downfall of Shane Dawson. We all know about Jeffree's racist past, but it seems that Shane's is really overlooked in these situations. I'm sure by now we've heard all the stories, we've been on Twitter, we've been on YouTube, many people have talked about it. I'm going to be focusing on the main points and about his apology video and how I did not like it, but it was not for me. If you used to watch Shane in the old days, which I did, you see a video, you click on it, you watch it, you're like, oh, that was okay, including Shanae, some of his very, very iffy videos, and a couple more of those kinds of videos. You've heard of Shanae, you've seen his black face. If you've seen that video on Twitter, it's very disturbing. I hated it.
I was nervous to put it up because I had chocolate pudding all over my face, and I thought people could definitely take this the wrong way. But luckily nobody did. Well, maybe people did, but I just didn't notice. I don't see anything wrong with me wearing chocolate pudding, pretending to be a black person dancing around with fake boobs in my friend's backyard while
And I'm sure you've heard of the very terrible situation of him sexualizing one of the Smiths. If you don't know who the Smiths are, you have Willow Smith, Jaden Smith, Will Smith, and then you have
Jada Smith.
Shane has been called out by the brother of Willow Smith and the mother of Willow Smith, and they say they do not accept his apology for a video that surfaced of him pretending to touch himself in front of a Willow Smith poster.
Your hair back and forth.
Oh!
Now, as I said, the Smiths do not accept his apology at all, and honestly, no one should be accepting his apology for that because it's disgusting. Making a joke like that, it's not funny. I mean, I think we've come to the time on YouTube where we know those jokes aren't funny and we're not gonna make them anymore. We've developed a better sense of humor than sexualizing children and making jokes, and we know they aren't funny anymore. And if you didn't know, hi. Jokes aren't funny, neither is sexualizing children. Into his racist videos, Shane Dawson came out with an apology video on that as well, titled Taking Accountability. And this video is titled the same as Jenna Marbles' goodbye video, but it's terrible. People in the black community who are close to Shane Dawson are coming out saying every day mostly how they were scared to even speak out against him because he could ruin their career. And people who even spoke out against him, they say people in their close mutual friend group didn't support them and they were scared of getting doxxed. We know some people who have actually been destroyed by Shane Dawson and his fans. For example, we have Bobby, and we also have someone who was very close to him and was in most of his videos where he actually did Shanae and blackface. Her name was Shauna, and I know you recognize that name. Shane Dawson wrote scripts for her, and she was supposed to portray this black stereotype of black women. Shauna is not like this in real life. She is an amazing person, but Shane Dawson ruined her. It was crazy how Shane Dawson had this power even when he didn't have the support he does now. Even his ex-girlfriend Lisa Schwartz came out apologizing, and I didn't like her apology either, but I believe it's way better than Shane's. So let's start talking about Shane Dawson's apology video, Taking Accountability. Shane released this video and it was not taken well. And I don't think he expected it to not go well for him. He basically says in this video he's willing to lose everything for people to understand that he's not coming from an ill place and that he's not racist and that he's not this, he's not that. But in this apology video, he doesn't apologize once, I mean, I believe that's what he's trying to do, is not say sorry because it comes off as not genuine. But in taking accountability, he makes up excuses. And that's way worse than just saying, I'm sorry. It's not my place to accept his apology at all. It's the Black communities, it's the communities that he made these videos intending to hurt and intending to make fun of. It's their apology to accept or deny, and none of them have to accept it, and they have every right to deny it. And I don't think when YouTubers make apologies, they realize that people are allowed to not like them and still not like them after they apologize. And they may say that, but you can see it in some people's faces that they're like, please just, I said I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't cut it sometimes. And people need to realize that in real life and on YouTube.
Period.
I'm just saying my opinion on this. I didn't accept it, but I hated it. I'm not going to defend him. I'm not going to say any part of his apology was good because none of it was good. I sound very mean. We're going through a total movement in 2020, and he's still having to make this apology and still making these kinds of comments that really are zero help to what we're doing for our community now. It's disgusting. If you have a closed mindset, but now you're making videos to people who have an open one and a closed one, those closed people are just gonna move with you. Your videos make it open-minded, but they've seen all these videos and they're so focused on those, it sets us back. Yeah, I'm blaming him for that. I'm blaming Jeffree Star for that too. I'm blaming every racist person for that who's on YouTube. I blame them all. TikTokers, YouTubers. Now we're gonna cut straight to Jenna Marbles. This is my last one. She came out with a goodbye/apology video a couple months ago, I believe, and it was called Taking Accountability. And she talked about old videos she made as well. Not very similar to Shane Dawson's issue. She used to work at a tanning salon when she had first started YouTube. She was very dark. Specifically, the Black community didn't like that. They thought it was blackfishing, and she apologized for that. She didn't make an excuse for it. She didn't say, I worked in a tanning salon, it was just normal. She may have stated, oh, it was normal, but I understand that it could have looked really bad. And she's right. Obviously, I'm not in that community. I wasn't affected by it, but other people are. They have been oppressed for their skin color, and now this white girl gets to wear it and be praised for it. No, it's not okay. She didn't make an excuse for it like somebody. She took accountability, apologized straight up, moved on to the next topic. This next topic was her singing a song. She said something, an Asian stereotypical racist term in her song, and she did apologize straight up. She was like, that's not an excuse. It was bad. I got rid of it. I'm so sorry. I've always loved Jenna Marbles. Grew up watching her, as well as Shane Dawson, and they're totally two completely different people. Two people, they didn't start at the same field. They didn't start making the same content at all. Two people with these racist pasts, and you see which direction these people took with that. And you also see the different apology paths they took with it. Cancel culture did some good jobs in this, specifically with Shane Dawson. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment what you want to see next time, specifically on T or for my Why Should I Stand series. Make sure you go check out my latest video where I do a cover of Lie to Me by 5 Seconds of Summer. And make sure you also check out these playlists. Treat people with kindness. Why are people so bad at stuff?